Colts, if you are a national media clown, and I say that with as much disrespect as I possibly can, if you are an NFL football media clown, you say to me, Dan, you've got the greatest general manager in the league. Let me read you something from last night. This is why, swear to God, you should only listen to me, because I have no bias. I got nothing. Today in Indianapolis, there is a press conference. It's at noon. It's the general manager. The general manager's name is Chris Ballard. Chris Ballard, in 5 years as the general manager, is 42-42. The previous general manager, the one that he took over for, went 52-34. 52-34 in 5 years. That's Ryan Grigson. 42-42. That's Chris Ballard. Let me read to you the stupidity of little blogger boys and media in the NFL. This is a guy, Chad Forbes, at NFL Draft Bites. Now, Chad Forbes has 19,000 followers. He's an expert. The reason Ed Dodds, now follow me here, Ed Dodds is Chris Ballard's assistant. The reason Ed Dodds is so coveted, the Colts model with Chris Ballard and Frank Reich is the one owners covet. Legitimate partnership, but even there, the GM defers to the coach on certain decisions. Quarterback. Ballard might be the best general manager in the NFL. Now, why does a guy say that? He says that because Chris Ballard calls these guys. Chris Ballard cultivates relationships with the media. Under no metric can you say Chris Ballard might be the best general manager in the NFL. Wins? He's 500. Playoff wins? 1 in 5 years. Playoff home games? None in 5 years. Playoff appearances? 2 in 5 years. Appearances. Division titles in the easiest division in football? None in 5 years. Somehow, some way, this equates to what might be the best general manager in football. When you read these idiots, whether it's Schefter, whoever, hell, our own Jay Glazer called Frank Reich an elite coach. Frank Reich, no division titles, 1 playoff win, 2 appearances in the playoffs. Elite? Somehow, some way, well, I know how it is, because Ballard kisses the ass of the media. Let's fast forward to yesterday. In fact, the first response on Twitter to this guy, NFL Draft Bites, is best GM based on what? Because winning ain't it. Right. All right. So let's fast forward. So the Colts get their ass beat, right? They get their brains beat out. The Colts lose in the most embarrassing fashion. It's still talked about in NFL circles today. Now, we have an owner, Jim Irsay. Great dude. Whatever you read or whatever you think or whatever things have happened in Jimmy Irsay's past, forget about it. He's a flawed human being. You're a flawed human being. I'm a flawed human being. Who cares? We're all flawed human beings. But Jimmy Irsay's happened to be public. Jimmy Irsay's out there. Fine. Well, Jimmy Irsay's the guy who says we're going to bring championships to Indianapolis. 2 Lombardis in the next 5 years. Jimmy Irsay went on my radio station, 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis, with the afternoon host, JMV. Jimmy Irsay won't come on my show. There's no chance. He's been invited every day that I've been there. But long story short, Jimmy Irsay comes on right before the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars and said, this has been a, quote, magical year. At the time, they were 9-7. They go get their ass beat. So Jimmy Irsay then does what Jimmy Irsay does and what all of Indianapolis sports does. Talk. Talk, 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 more talk, more talk. Dear Colts fans, and I won't read you the entire thing. The buck stops with me, and this experience makes me even more determined to bring Indiana a contending team. Think about that. So, you've got the best general manager in the NFL according to Slaps. And your owner is saying, I want to bring you a contending team. We're already working toward the future. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to put us in a position to win next year and for years to come. And then there's a bunch of blah, 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 blah. Last night on Hard Knocks, you could see why Philadelphia got rid of Carson Wentz. The exchange, not only did Carson Wentz play like crap in the biggest game of the year, but the exchanges between his teammates are so incredibly awkward that you go, man. Now, I've been in and around locker rooms my entire life, and not just to ask questions. I've been invited over the last 10 years, speak to teams, help run a practice, you name it. And when I see things like this, I'm going to be the only one that's going to tell you the truth. Because I got no bias. They could fire me tomorrow at Emmis because I'm mean to the Colts, and I'll say, well, who gives a rat's ass? But the truth of the matter is, I'm going to give it to you straight. When you watched Hard Knocks last night, I understand exactly. Actually, I'd be sad if I left Emmis. I really like doing that show, and we've built it into the best in the country from noon to 3. So scratch that. I see why Philadelphia wanted to get rid of Carson Wentz. You ain't winning with that. And I'm not talking about on the field. I'm talking about his interactions. I've told you before, he talks too much about himself. Second, DeForest Buckner. Think about this. Have you ever heard a great player, when asked before a big game, the biggest of the year, a career-defining game, are you going to play? Who's a little bit dinged up. You know what great players say? Oh, hell yeah. I ain't missing this game for anything. Nothing. You know what DeForest Buckner said while he was eating? Well, I'm going to listen to my body. My body says I can go, I can go. Right in front of his teammates. And this is the highest paid, the leader on the defensive front. You ain't winning with these guys. San Francisco knew it. The best general manager in the NFL had no idea about it. None, zip, zero, zilch. It was disgusting. I've told you about my wife, the lovely Lee Ross Dakich, a legend in women's softball as a player and as a coach. We looked at each other, and she said, quote, man, I'm glad I don't coach anymore to be at the mercy of that. Well, I'm going to let my body, right in front of his teammates, the highest paid lineman. Instead of, yeah, hey, coach, come on, man. What are you, crazy? Of course I'm going. Well, I'm going to let my body tell me. That's what you don't want to hear. San Francisco, John Lynch, you fleeced the best general manager in the NFL, according to the media. You fleeced them, man. You got a 13th pick in the draft for a guy that you can't win with. Smart. Meanwhile, the best general manager in the NFL, well, he's got a press conference today at noon to explain to a fawning local media why they're not in the playoffs. That's why I hate the media. Hate them. I don't hate anything. I don't. I don't hate them much, but the media is not your friend. Dakich, you're in the media. No, I'm an entertainer. The media is not the media is a virus. And I don't care if it's politics. I don't care if it's sports. Every story that I've ever been involved in on a national or local level has gotten it wrong. Everyone. Hell, there's articles that I called a high school kid a meth head. High school kid, in an article, lady named Dana Bembo, reporter named Dana Bembo Hunzinger Bembo. I can never get it straight. So I've offered her $5,000 if she could name the player that I named. They're full of shit. They're the worst. And I'll go to my grave. It ain't smart for me to fight with the Indianapolis Star. Right? They buy ink by the barrel. I'm drinking coffee in my basement. I don't give a damn. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And media is a frickin' virus. Big Ben. Big Ben says, hey, look, we probably shouldn't be here. And he's right. You probably shouldn't be here. But let me ask you a question. You are there. And I got to think for a moment, hey, look, Big Ben's setting them up. I don't think Big Ben's going to go into Kansas City and get a win. But I do think Big Ben has one last big game in him. He has looked horrible. And when I say horrible, I mean awful, horrible, awful, ridiculous. Willie Mays in center field, the people that are older than me, with the New York Mets. Whoa. Throwing the ball high, hard to move, but hey, guess what? He's got one more shot at it. And I liked what he said. He goes, hey, look, we're not really supposed to be here. We're not really supposed to be in and around this game. And they're not. Hey, they could have, should have been out. If that world's greatest young coach guy that's with San Diego had been smart enough to just freaking not call timeout, not exacerbate a situation, you might have sort of, kind of, maybe been in the playoffs. And Big Ben would have been out. But Big Ben's in. Woo! Big Ben's in, and I'm looking forward to that game. They may lose 34-3, I don't know. But I'm fired up for Big Ben to be in the playoffs. I just can't stand that the Colts aren't. Because here's the deal when you get older. When you get older, you look for appointment TV. You want appointment TV. And guess what? When it ain't there, what do? Like used to be, you went out to the bars, hung out. Now, I'm reading books. I like reading books, though. Thanks to everybody that's on the YouTube channel. Will34, Jim Maloney, Pete York, John Mathis, the commish is on there, Sean Black, the president of all things. I love it. I love the YouTube chat. Keep it going, Tony Montana, Pete York, Outkick, Ed Rogers, Dave Carroll, Brian Smith, Austin Batalis. Let's go. Let's have a date. All right. Damian Lillard's out indefinitely. Now, here's the deal with Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard shows up in big moments, but Damian Lillard got to get his ass out of Portland. I think there's just bad malacca in Portland. You got that Chaz thing. You got the idiots that didn't want law enforcement, didn't want plumbing. They ended up killing each other. It's a great 1984 / Lord of the Flies type of experiment in that maniac city of Portland. Damian, get the hell out of there. You got crazy people there, Damian. It's bad. It's bad in Portland. Chaz, we're not going to allow law enforcement. We end up killing ourselves. We're going to grow our own food. We end up starving. We're going to defecate on the streets. Go get them, Chazzy. Portland's a mess. Portland was a mess before it came a mess. Damian, you got a name like Damian. You're in Portland. It's a bad combination. Get the hell out. Get out. Now. You're hurt. Say, look, you don't need me. You don't need hurt goods. Get me out of there. Damian Lillard, you're too good. You're playing in a city. Bad stuff, man. My wife believes that Tampa has evil spirits in it because of all the strip joints. Is that right, Lee? No, she's not there anymore. But anyway, Damian, I'm helping you here. Get your ass out of Portland. Please, please. Bad stuff in Portland. You guys think I'm lying? I ain't lying. The New York Giants owner went the way of Jimmy Irsay. He's embarrassed as he's ever been by his own franchise. Well, here's the deal. You see the big old starter jacket wearing Giants fan yelling at him. It went viral the other day. This isn't a family. It's a football team. Get football people in here. I'll never understand why football people don't run football teams. Like, When has it ever worked? Not in the 60s when George Halas ran everything. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about football corporate world. When has it ever really worked when the owner has been the general manager like Jerry Jones? I'll tell you this for Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones as a general manager has made the Cowboys interesting, which has damn near doubled their value since he got them. So good for Jerry Jones, but they're not winning nothing. They may win the NFC East because it's the second easiest division in football behind the AFC South, but they're not winning nothing. You're embarrassed? This is the most embarrassing? Well, you keep hiring goofs. Shermer, not a goof. McAdoo and his mustache, goof. Joe Judge, goof. How about you hire a serious football guy like Brian Grigson as your general manager and you hire a serious football coach? Then you won't be embarrassed. And you hire serious football people. Jesus, you're in New York. Let's go. Bring in Grandpa Poley and he'll solve your problems like they're doing in Chicago. Stupid. I love this. This is the greatest headline I've ever seen. Listen to this. You guys on YouTube, listen to this. You guys on Twitter, listen to this. You ready? This is awesome. Here we go. This is too funny. Logan Couture dodges fake octopus, nets San Jose Sharks in overtime win over the Red Wings. Now, let me say that again to you. Logan Couture dodges fake octopus, nets San Jose Sharks an overtime win over the Detroit Red Wings. What's better than that? That's a Saturday Night Live skit. That's something that's on 30 Rock. Guy threw a fake octopus on the ice, which is what they kind of do at different places. So Logan Couture skates around it, got the winner. I didn't see it. I don't know. But you tell me a better headline than that. There is none. Period. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey says political correctness has killed comedy. Political correctness has killed free speech. There is a cover of Self magazine right now that is so ridiculous because we all know obesity kills many people. We all know that obesity causes many diseases. We all know that obesity enhances your opportunity to get COVID-19. We all, Omicron, whatever. Look, when I'm skinny, my knees don't hurt, my bones don't ache, and I'm more active. There's no glory in being fat, and I'm fat because I'm undisciplined. See, political correctness says that nobody can comment on the picture on Self magazine, touting this is the new fitness. Look for it yourself. It's the most ridiculous thing you're going to see. Because let's be honest, being overweight has cost not only people individually, but this nation a ton. We are a fat nation, and now all of a sudden we're celebrating that, given what we know from the medical community. But I can't say how ridiculous it is, because political correctness will come down and get me. Political correctness, as Steve Harvey said, absolutely kills comedy. The best comics in the country will not go to college campuses because college campuses are so uptight with the silent majority bitching, whining, and moaning. Some blue-haired dude or some green-haired lady telling you how you're supposed to think that doesn't know her ass from third base. Next thing you know, she wakes up a grandma with 3 grandkids and she goes, well, I was really wild back in the 2020s, but now are the 2020s and you are listening to this idiot. But political correctness has killed a lot of things, and I mean a lot of things. All right, I understand what inflation is. I do. Oh, here you go. All you scholars out there. Excess aggregate demand, economic growth too fast, or cost push factor sustaining increase in prices. Here's what I know. When I was a kid, Jimmy Carter was the president. Jimmy Carter being the president led me to think kid things. Why gas prices skyrocketing? Why are there shortages? What is this word inflation? Why are there things not on the shelves? 1982 is the last time we had this high of inflation. I believe Reagan was the president. Reagan took steps. He lowered inflation. Under Trump, we didn't even hear the word inflation. Didn't even hear the word. Not even the word. All I know is this. When Trump was the president, I don't know nothing else. I don't give a damn about mean tweets. I don't give a damn. All these presidents are dirtbags. We know that. I don't give a damn about any of it. What I give a damn about is I don't hear the word inflation. The stock market keeps rolling, which is doing pretty good under Biden, and gas prices don't rise. 2 to 3 are happening. I don't like it. Now, I get it. Well, what about protecting our country? What about I get all that. I do. But for my whole life, those are the things that impacted me. Now, 9/11 may have changed it, certainly. But my whole life starting going back with Jimmy Carter. So all you idiots out there, all you bearded wonders with fake Twitter names, you can come at me all you'd like. But the truth of the matter is inflation's going through the roof. You go in your store, you can't get anything, and gas prices are rising. Well, the president doesn't control gas prices. Really? Then why did the National Democratic Party put out a tweet the other day about how gas prices under this president have gone down 14%? They went down from where they were previously under the same president. So if gas prices were $1, they went up to $2 under this president, and then they went down. What would that be? Under $2 would be 28 cents. They go down. You can say gas prices went down 14%. It's all a bunch of crap. Now, come at me all you'd like. I really don't give a shit. But the truth of the matter is, when you hear about things like inflation that you didn't hear in the previous group, then you got a problem. When you go to your grocery store, like I do over here to the Walgreens or I go over here to the Kroger, and you can't find a freaking Gatorade, you got a problem. Make all the excuses you want, but under the previous president, before we had COVID, we didn't have these problems. Fix the problems. You swore you were going to fix COVID. You haven't done it. I don't give a damn if you're a Republican or a Democrat. I give a damn if you're going to do what you say you're going to do. Holy hell, it used to be just toilet paper. People lost their mind over toilet paper. Now you go over here and there ain't a damn thing on a shelf. But it ain't the president's fault. It's only the president's doing if something good happens. My ass. Fix the freaking inflation. Get things back on the shelf. Get the supply chain going and shut the hell up about your ability to fix COVID and just do it. It's literally that simple. Son of a bitch, I'm tired. I am. You got all these sexual intellectuals, which are effing know-it-alls. They don't know their ass from third base. They're on Twitter with fake names. Well, you know, the president doesn't do that. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, look, you don't have to be whacked out this side. You don't have to be whacked out this side. How about we all come together? But son of a bitch, inflation is through the roof. People can't afford to live, and nobody wants to work. And we got the greatest country in the world, and we're in the middle of fucking it up. Unbelievable.